Hey guys, welcome back. Today we've got Ben's C6 Z06 back in the shop, and while we're super eager to try to figure out why he only ran 122 miles per hour in the quarter 2 weeks ago, when we were thinking he should be closer to 130, today we're going to focus on a different problem. Some of you might have noticed in the drag racing video that I put up 2 weeks ago, there's a link in your upper right hand corner by the way, during the last third of the track, Ben's C6 Z06 was kind of doing the shimmy. In fact, it's so bad, if you take a look at the video, you can clearly see it. As you can see now, it is definitely wobbling side to side, and that's a little unnerving when you're going over 100 miles an hour. I'm thinking that somehow during our track day that his alignment either somehow moved or he's got a bad toe link end. Either way, we're going to have to do a little digging to find out, and we're going to do that next.
Toys for life.
First thing we're going to do today is I'm going to grab both the front and the rear tires at the 9 o'clock and the 3 o'clock position and really just twist a lot and see if we can sense any movement. We'll do the same thing at the 12 o'clock position, and of course, there shouldn't be any movement there whatsoever. I proceeded to check all four wheels, and I was not able to perceive any movement. Well, the grab test didn't really reveal anything, so I'm going to move to my laser level, and we're going to just do a really crude check of the rear toe. Now, obviously, this is by no means a professional alignment device, but if something's really out of whack with the rear toe on the C6, a lot of times this is good enough to find it. I've got the laser level with metal standoffs that I'll rest gently against the rim. I aim it forward where Ben has a paint stick that's level and right in the center of the rim, where he'll use a Sharpie to mark the position where the laser intersects the wood. So we did both sides of the car and we compared the measurements, and it's about 1/8 of an inch apart, which the tolerance on the fancy laser level, that's probably within spec. So no smoking gun there. The next thing we're going to do is put the C6 on the lift and start poking around. And now we face a problem. This car is super low, but fear not, because this C6 has a 2-inch pneumatic lift on it, which will help this situation. All right, so Ben, I'm not super familiar with airlift systems for C5 or C6 Corvettes. So if you wouldn't mind telling us a little bit more about the system, how it works, and how often you actually use it, that'd be great.
Sure. I believe it's a Stance Parts airlift system. It's a pneumatic airlift system. It'll lift the car 2 inches. It's actually a billet cup. The car's on coilovers. So it's a mounting point where the cup actually fills with the air to lift the car. Back here I have a couple dual air compressors. I also have a 5-gallon air tank. So every time I start the car, it charges up, gets up to pressure, and that way it's available anytime I need it.
What about the controls? Like, how does it actually work?
So the controls are up front, right up here in my ashtray. I have independent front and rear lift in case I needed one over the other. Do you use it for driveways often? Or? I do. When I'm in an unfamiliar area, I end up using it often. When I'm in a familiar area, I know which areas I can go and which areas I can't most times.
And of course, with the skirts on the side and the splitter up front, it's good to know you can lift the car up a couple inches anytime you need to. We lifted it with the airlift by 2 inches and then drove up on some 1x6s, and we were golden. Once we got the C6 up in the air, we repeated the same battery of tests by grabbing the wheels in the various positions, pulling and pushing with as much force as possible. This time we had the advantage of having no weight on the suspension and one of us underneath the C6 keeping a close eye for any movement. And it didn't take us very long to find the culprits. Both of the rear toe links are shot and in need of replacement. Take a look. Go for it. Okay. And then let's do the other side as well. Okay. If the rear toe links move that much with just the force of our puny little arms pulling and pushing, imagine how much they would move with the full torque and force of the mighty LS7 imposing its will. to rule out the possibility of the rod end being loose in the knuckle, I've just got a torque wrench hooked up here to 35 foot-pounds, which is the final step when you're torquing these down, just to make sure that the rod end is not spinning in the aluminum knuckle. And they're not. So we can conclusively say that the tie rod end here is junk. You might ask, why didn't we just skip the step of kind of pulling and pushing, looking for movement with the car sitting flat on the ground, and just go right to the lift? And the answer is sometimes with the car sitting at flat normal ride height, that is the position where this tie rod end is going to wear. And when you lift the car off the ground, the suspension drops, and now that's a different relationship, and it might not be as worn there. So in my experience, it always pays to check both flat ride height and up in the air. Well guys, I'm satisfied with the diagnosis we've made. Those rear toe links are definitely worn. If our little measly arms can find that much movement, imagine the stress of the big LS7 powering down the track. They're going to want to toe in, and then they can no longer continue to toe in, so they break traction, and you get kind of that swaying movement because they're both towed in. Now Ben's just got to figure out if he's going to go with GM replacement toe links or aftermarket. Ben, I've got your back. This guy here, Superfun Guy 2027, verifies that the part number you need is the 88964323, and you can get these at Rock Auto if you want to go that route. You can also get them GM Parts Direct. I haven't had the greatest luck with them. So I like to use their parts tree though to verify the part number, which it did verify here. And Summit carries them as well, but it looks like they're back ordered for a few weeks. So because Happiness is having options, you can go aftermarket, Ben, with a set from FDF Race Shop. Bear has an offering, and then also RPI has an offering. So do a little research and figure out what's going to work best for you. And where in the Twin Cities Metro should he get his C6 Z06 aligned? Those are questions he'll have to figure out. Guys, if you liked the video, please hit the thumbs up below, consider subscribing, and as always, thanks for watching.